Oh dear, he thought. Why did they run away like that? Why couldn't they stop and talk to me? For a long time, he lay very still, watching the bracken, and hoping that they would come back, but they never returned, and presently the sun sank lower, and the little white moths fluttered out, and the boy came to carry him home. Weeks passed, and the little rabbit grew very old and shabby, but the boy loved him just as much. He loved him so hard that he loved all his whiskers off, and the pink lining to his ears turned gray, and his brown spots faded. He even began to lose his shape, and he scarcely looked like a rabbit any more. Except to the boy. To him, he was always beautiful, and that was all the little rabbit cared about. He didn't mind how he looked to other people because the nursery magic had made him real, and when you are real, shabbiness doesn't matter. And then one day, the boy was ill. His face grew very flushed, and he talked in his sleep, and his little body was so hot that it burned the rabbit when he held him. Strange people came and went in the nursery, and the light burned all night. And through it all, the little Velveteen rabbit lay there, hidden from sight, under the bedclothes, and he never stirred, for he was afraid that if they found him, someone might take him away, and he knew the boy needed him. It was a long, weary time, for the boy was too ill to play, and the little rabbit found it rather dull, with nothing to do all day long, but he snuggled down patiently and looked forward to the time when the boy would be well again, and they would go out in the garden among the flowers and the butterflies and play splendid games in the raspberry thicket like they used to. All sorts of delightful things had planned, and the boy lay half asleep. He crept up close to the pillow and whispered them in his ear. And presently, the fever turned, and the boy got better. He was able to sit up in bed and look at picture books while the little rabbit cuddled close at his side. And one day, they let him get up and dress. It was a bright, sunny morning, and the windows stood wide open. They carried the boy out onto the balcony, wrapped in a shawl, and the little rabbit lay tangled up among the bedclothes, thinking. The boy was going to the seaside tomorrow. Everything was arranged, and now it only remained to carry out the doctor's orders. They talked about it all while the little rabbit lay under the bedclothes, with just his head peeping out, and listened. The room was to be disinfected, and all the books and toys that the boy had played with must be burned. Hurrah, thought the little rabbit. Tomorrow we shall go to the seaside. For the boy had often talked of the seaside, and he wanted very much to see the big waves coming in, and tiny crabs and sand castles. Just then, Nana caught sight of him. How about this old bunny? She asked. That, said the doctor. Why, it's a mass of scarlet fever germs. Burn it at once. What? Nonsense. Get him a new one. He mustn't have that anymore. And so the little rabbit was put into a sack with the old picture books and a lot of rubbish and carried out to the end of the garden behind the fowl house. That was a fine place to make a bonfire, only the gardener was too busy just then to attend to it. He had the potatoes to dig and the green peas to gather. But the next morning, he promised to come quite early and burn the whole lot. That night, the boy slept in a different bedroom, and he had a new bunny sleep with him. It was a splendid bunny, all white plush with real glass eyes, but the boy was too excited to care very much about it, for tomorrow he was going to the seaside, and that in itself was such a wonderful thing that he could think of nothing else.